You're not broke because the world is unfair. You're broke because you believed the lies. You swallowed every piece of garbage they fed you without question. They told you to study hard, get good grades, go to university, and a magical job would appear, handing you a future on a silver plate, but the only thing you got was debt, disappointment, and a life you don't even recognize anymore. The truth is, they trained you to be poor, they trained you to obey. The system isn't broken, it's working exactly as designed. It keeps you tired, distracted, just comfortable enough not to rebel, and constantly dependent on it for survival. They made sure you'd never question why you work 8 hours a day for a wage that barely covers your rent, why you pay taxes on everything, or why you're punished for dreaming bigger than a cubicle. But I'm here to tell you something no one else has the courage to say. You are not powerless. You're not some helpless pawn drifting through life with no control. That's the story they programmed into you. That's the matrix. And most people are too deep inside it to even see the bars of the cage they're in. You have more power than you think. The problem is you've handed it away. Every time you chose comfort over progress, every time you convinced yourself you'd start next week, every time you quit at 60% and called it effort. You're not a victim of circumstances. You're a victim of your own softness. You've let the world convince you that strength is toxic, that masculinity is dangerous, that ambition is selfish. Nonsense. Those traits, fire, grit, drive, are the only things that will ever save you. You think you're tired because you work all day. You're tired because your soul is starving. You weren't designed to be some average guy stuck in traffic every morning, doing tasks a robot could do, clocking in and out while your potential rots inside you. You were born for more. But nobody's going to hand it to you. The universe only respects strength. And that strength isn't found in comfort, it's forged in suffering. You have to be willing to hurt for the life you want. You have to wake up before the rest, work harder than the rest, and bleed for a vision no one else understands yet. That's the price. And most people simply won't pay it. They'd rather stay warm and broke than get cold and conquer. I was there. I remember what it felt like to sit in a dark room, bills unpaid, eating cheap food, watching other men live the life I wanted. I had the same 24 hours, the same internet, the same opportunities, but the difference was I refused to stay there. I made a decision. I didn't care how long it took. I was going to become a machine. Not a maybe, not a someday. A machine. While others slept, I learned. While others played, I plotted, and every sacrifice added bricks to the empire I was building. Nobody saw it at first, nobody cared, but eventually they couldn't ignore it. That's how you win. You become undeniable. You become the guy no one can compete with because your discipline is not optional. It's who you are. People ask me, Tate, how do I become successful? I say, first, stop being weak. Stop negotiating with your goals. Stop treating your dreams like hobbies. You say you want to be rich, but you're scared of rejection. You want to travel the world, but you're addicted to comfort. You want to escape the 9-to-5, but can't even put down your phone for 10 minutes to learn a high-income skill. You're your own worst enemy, and that's good news. Because if the enemy is you, then the solution is you too. No one's stopping you but you. No government, no parent, no friend, just the man in the mirror. When you take radical ownership of that, everything changes. You stop blaming and start building. You stop waiting and start moving. Listen, this is your wake-up call, not to shame you, but to ignite you. You're not too late. You're not too dumb. You're not too far gone. You just haven't started yet. That hunger you feel, that whisper in the back of your mind telling you that you're meant for more, that's not a fantasy. That's your potential screaming to be unleashed. And the moment you stop lying to yourself, the moment you drop the excuses and look life dead in the eye and say, I'm done being average, that's the moment your empire begins. Yes, it will be hard. Yes, you'll lose sleep. Yes, people will laugh, but then they'll watch you rise, they'll watch you dominate. They'll pretend they believed in you all along, and by then it won't matter because you won't need their approval. You'll have results. You'll have built something real, something permanent, something no man or system can take from you. Now go. Stop reading and start building. The clock is ticking. And the world doesn't wait for those who hesitate. I remember the day I decided I'd never be poor again. It wasn't some Hollywood movie moment with motivational music and cheering crowds. It was dark, cold, and I was angry. Furious, in fact. Not at the world, not at the system, but at myself. I was sitting in a moldy apartment. My bank account was bleeding out, and I had just been rejected for a job I didn't even want in the first place. I looked around at my reality, the peeling walls, the noise from the neighbors, the hopelessness choking the air, and I felt disgust. But not the kind of disgust that breaks you, the kind that wakes you up. That moment wasn't rock bottom. It was the forge. It was the furnace where I killed the boy inside me and made the decision to become a man of purpose. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't complain. I wrote down one sentence: this ends with me becoming rich or dead. Most people never get to that level of clarity because they're too addicted to numbness. They'll do anything to avoid discomfort. They scroll, they gossip, they drink, they escape into fantasy, all just to dodge the mirror. But the mirror doesn't lie. It reflects every wasted hour, every excuse, every cowardly decision. And when I faced it, truly faced it, I realized nobody was coming to save me. There's no miracle, no lucky break, no hero riding in to fix your life. The only rescue mission that exists is the one you launch yourself. And once I swallowed that, everything changed. I stopped pretending. I stopped playing. I became obsessed with building skills that made money. I studied markets. I networked with killers. I cut out people who made me weak. I transformed my life with rage, discipline, and insane consistency. Let me tell you something about transformation. It isn't pretty. People think success is about peace and balance and smiling every morning. No. Real change is violent. It's chaotic. It breaks you before it builds you. It isolates you. You'll lose friends. You'll be misunderstood. You'll be mocked for choosing the hard road. I've eaten meals alone while others celebrated mediocrity. I've worked while others partied, stayed silent while others begged for attention, and every sacrifice was worth it because each step away from comfort brought me closer to control. And control is the ultimate freedom. When your life is dictated by your own decisions, not a boss, not a schedule, not a fear, then you're free. But let's be honest, most of you aren't willing to pay that price. You love the idea of freedom, but you're married to your limitations. You fantasize about greatness, but you flirt with laziness every night. That was the old me too, until I killed him. You see, people keep saying, you have potential. I hate that word. Potential means nothing. The graveyard is full of potential. What matters is proof. Show me results. Show me scars. Show me how many times you've been kicked in the teeth by life and got back up without crying. That's what separates the men from the boys. Not talent, not luck. Hunger. Ruthless, unbreakable hunger. There was a time I only had one suit, one pair of shoes, one shot. I walked into rooms full of millionaires and acted like I belonged, even when I had nothing in my pocket but belief. They laughed. They tried to belittle me, but I kept showing up. I kept sharpening my mind. I kept speaking with conviction, and eventually they stopped laughing. They started asking questions. They started copying, because when a man refuses to break, even reality starts to bend around him. That's the power you're sleeping on. That's the beast you've buried under convenience and distraction. And I'm telling you now, it's time to wake it up. You think this world rewards softness? You think kindness and patience will buy you a mansion, respect, or legacy? Wake up. This is a war zone. Every day weak men are being devoured by stronger ones. Every opportunity you waste goes to someone else who's hungrier than you. Every minute you procrastinate is fuel for your future regret. But here's the good news. You can flip it. You can become a weapon. You can build a life so powerful, so disciplined, so successful that even your enemies will respect you. But you must get obsessed, not interested, not curious, obsessed. That means sacrificing now for later. That means saying no to your current self to say yes to your future self. That means understanding that suffering is the entry fee to greatness. I made it out, not because I was the smartest, fastest, or strongest, but because I refused to die a nobody. I refused to accept average. I refused to let this world write my story for me. I picked up the pen and I rewrote the script. You can too. You have that same pen in your hand. The only question is whether you'll use it or whether you'll throw it away and spend the rest of your life reading stories written by men like me. You've got one life, one shot, one legacy. Don't waste it chasing pleasure or hiding from pain. Let the pain mold you. Let it sculpt you into someone they never saw coming. There's a storm coming for every man, whether you like it or not. And the most dangerous lie the world tells you is that you have time. You don't. You're not young forever. You're not invincible. And the clock isn't your friend, it's your executioner. Every second that slips through your fingers is another opportunity you'll never get back. People always say someday they'll start the business, someday they'll get in shape, someday they'll be disciplined, but they never realize that someday doesn't exist. It's a mirage built by cowards to justify their stagnation. Every time you say later, you're digging your own grave just a little deeper, because life doesn't wait, success doesn't wait, death doesn't wait, and one day you'll wake up and realize it's too late to become the man you could have been. Do you understand what regret really is? Regret isn't sadness, it's a virus. It crawls into your brain and eats away at your soul slowly, silently, until one day you're nothing but a shell of missed chances. You'll see other men driving your dream car, living in your dream house, walking next to the woman you fantasized about, and you'll have to sit with the fact that you let it all go because discipline was too uncomfortable. Because scrolling your phone was easier than building an empire, and that pain, that deep, inescapable ache is far worse than any failure. You can recover from failure, but you never recover from being average. When you were born to be great, most men think they have time to figure it out. They think rock bottom is far away, but for some of you, it's right around the corner. Your health is deteriorating. Your mind is weaker than it was last year. Your bank account is a joke. Your confidence is built on fake validation and filters, not results. And deep down, you feel it, don't you? That quiet panic, that voice in your head screaming, this isn't who I was supposed to become. But you ignore it. You drown it with distractions. You laugh with your broke friends. You pretend like everything's fine. Meanwhile, the version of you that had potential is dying a slow, humiliating death, and you're the one killing him. You think life owes you something? You think because you're a good person or because you've suffered, success will magically find you? Get real. Life doesn't reward pain. It rewards power. It rewards men who get up and do what must be done regardless of how they feel. You'll never win by hoping. You'll win by hunting, by locking in, by becoming the kind of person who treats each day like it's his last shot to win, because it is. Every day you waste is someone else's chance to take what could have been yours. Every time you sleep in, there's a man across the world working harder than you, hungrier than you, more disciplined than you, and guess what? He's coming for everything you're dreaming about. He's not gonna knock, he's gonna take it because he's earned it. And you haven't. But here's the part no one tells you. You're not broken. You're not stuck. You're just soft. You've been sedated by comfort, but comfort isn't love. It's poison. And if you don't get uncomfortable on purpose, life will make you uncomfortable by force. That's the law. You either suffer now with discipline or you suffer forever with regret. You choose the pain, and that choice defines your legacy. Nobody cares about your excuses. Not the world, not your bank, not your woman. Results are the only language the universe respects. And the moment you understand that, the moment you accept that no one is coming to save you, is the moment everything shifts. This isn't about motivation, it's about war. A war for your mind, a war for your future. Every temptation, every comfort, every distraction is a bullet aimed at your purpose. And if you don't fight back with obsession, with aggression, with unwavering discipline, you'll lose. You'll become one of those men who peak at 25 and decay into bitterness. The guy who talks about what he could have done instead of what he actually built. It's a curse. And if that future terrifies you, good. It should, because fear is your compass. If the thought of being average for the rest of your life doesn't make your skin crawl, you're already finished. But if it does, if something deep inside you is screaming right now, begging you to rise, listen to it. That voice is your last shot at greatness. Don't silence it. Don't sedate it. Let it become your fuel. Let it consume you. The same fire that can destroy you is the fire that can forge you. Your pain can be your power. Your fear can be your force. But only if you stop running from it and face it like a man. I've done it. I've stood face to face with my own demons, and I beat them into submission with sheer will. Not because I was special, but because I refused to die small. You want real power, real control? Then stop reacting and start deciding. Decide that from this moment on, you're not waiting anymore. You're not blaming. You're not hesitating. You are moving relentlessly, obsessively, fearlessly, because if you don't, someone else will. And when you're sitting there, watching him live the life you could have had, don't cry. Don't complain. Just remember that you were warned. If you want to win, then you need to understand something very clearly. Success is not a moment, it's not a lucky break, it's not a reward, it's a lifestyle. It's how you breathe, how you move, how you think when no one's watching. The difference between a loser and a winner isn't talent, and it damn sure isn't luck, it's obsession. The winner wakes up with purpose burning in his blood. The loser wakes up and checks his phone. Every decision you make, every habit you choose, every hour you spend either builds the empire or buries the king. There is no middle ground. You're either climbing or you're decaying. Life doesn't hand you wins. It tests to see if you're serious enough to take them. People keep asking for a shortcut. Tate, what's the fastest way to success? And I tell them, the fastest way is the hardest way. Because when you pick the hard route, when you do what most men are too scared to touch, the results come tenfold. But it takes courage. It takes staring down fear and choosing discipline anyway. No one wants to talk about the nights you're grinding when your body aches, when your bank balance mocks you, when you question if it's even worth it. But those nights are where champions are carved. You don't become powerful when everything's easy. You become powerful when everything hurts and you keep moving. That's where real transformation happens, in the fire, not in comfort. The universe is watching you right now, testing your seriousness. You say you want freedom, wealth, respect, then prove it. Show the world what you're willing to suffer for. Show it that you're not a slave to weakness, to laziness, to momentary pleasure. Most men fold under pressure because they think discomfort is the enemy. But discomfort is your ally. It reveals who you truly are. You can fake ambition when things are easy, but when your back is against the wall, your true self is exposed. That's why I lean into pressure. That's why I never stop pushing, because I know every ounce of pain I absorb turns into strength. Every failure becomes a weapon. Every doubt becomes fuel. And that mindset makes me unbeatable. It's not enough to want more. Everyone wants more. That doesn't make you special. What makes you rare is the work you're willing to do in silence. It's the way you train when no one's clapping. The way you hustle when no one believes. The way you sacrifice while others celebrate mediocrity. That's the separation. The average man seeks validation. The exceptional man seeks results. I didn't get here by asking for permission. I didn't become who I am by hoping the system would help me. I created my own system. I tore the rules apart and wrote my own book. Because I realized early on, no one was going to hand me anything. The world rewards the aggressive, the bold, the man who isn't afraid to break himself in pursuit of excellence. You want to change your life? Then change how you see pain. Stop avoiding the very thing that will free you. Pain isn't your enemy. It's your compass. It shows you where you're weak, where you've neglected yourself, where the growth is hiding. And if you embrace it, if you run toward it instead of away from it, you become dangerous, unstoppable. The kind of man who's feared because he can't be broken. When you start seeing every challenge as a doorway, not a dead end, your entire life flips. That's how I built myself. I didn't wait to be saved. I sharpened myself on every setback. I bled for every victory. And I do it all again because the man it created is untouchable. People will try to pull you down. Friends, family, society, they'll all whisper that you're doing too much, that you're changing. Good, you're supposed to change. You're not here to make them comfortable. You're here to win, to conquer, to create a legacy that echoes long after you're gone. And that only happens when you stop living for others and start living for purpose. Don't apologize for being intense. Don't water yourself down to fit into a world that celebrates weakness. Let them call you arrogant. Let them say you're obsessed. Those are compliments from the small-minded. Obsession is the gateway to mastery. Arrogance is often just confidence misinterpreted by the insecure. You were born with the potential for greatness. But potential means nothing without execution. The graveyard is full of men who had potential. Men who talked a good game, who dreamed big dreams, but couldn't get off the couch when it counted. Don't be one of them. Be the man who acts, the man who dominates, the man who looks in the mirror every morning and says, I'm coming for everything they said I couldn't have, and then backs it up with relentless focused action every single day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. That's when you build the character that separates kings from pawns. You don't need more time, you need more intensity. You don't need more motivation, you need more discipline. And you don't need anyone's approval, you need to approve of yourself. That's the shift, that's the foundation. When you finally stop playing small, when you commit fully, when you put the distractions to death and choose obsession over excuses, the game bends in your favor. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. I've seen it, I've lived it, I bled for it. And if I can do it, so can you. But the question is, will you? This is the point where most men fold, right here, this very moment, when they've consumed the motivation, heard the truth, felt the fire, yet still do nothing. That's the brutal tragedy of our generation. Millions of men know they're capable of more. They feel the hunger, they scream inside, but they never move. Why? Because it's easier to fantasize about change than to execute it. It's easier to scroll through inspiration than to become it. The comfort of your current life, as mediocre as it is, has a death grip on your potential. It whispers lies, tells you tomorrow will be better, convinces you that you can wait, but you can't. Time isn't your friend, it's your executioner. And every second you waste is another nail in the coffin of the man you were supposed to become. You think you have time? That's the biggest illusion they've sold you, that you can figure it out later, that you can be lazy now and magically switch on greatness when it's convenient. But success doesn't respond to convenience, it responds to commitment. The kind that costs you. The kind that rips you out of bed when your body begs for rest. The kind that keeps you grinding when nobody claps. That's what separates winners from dreamers. Follow through. You either start taking every hour like it's a weapon, or you'll be a slave to your regrets. And believe me, nothing hits harder than regret. One day, you're gonna look back and hate yourself for how easy it was to rise and how weak you were for not doing it. Don't let that happen. You don't need another speech. You don't need another video. You need to look yourself in the mirror and finally stop lying. You need to kill the version of you that tolerates failure, that negotiates with weakness, that believes comfort is a reward. That man has to die. You need to bury him now before he robs you of everything. Your future is standing there, waiting, daring you to man up. The money, the body, the power, the respect, the freedom. All of it is real. But it doesn't come to the guy who wants it. It comes to the guy who earns it every single day, without excuses, without shortcuts, without looking for sympathy or applause. The game is brutal and it only pays the savage. You either toughen up or stay broke, weak, invisible. But I'll tell you this, because you need to hear it. It's not too late. I don't care how many years you've wasted, how many times you've failed, or how deep in the pit you are right now. There's still a door. But it only opens for men who move. Men who stop whining, stop blaming, and start executing with violence. Your past doesn't define you, your actions do. So rewrite the story. Stand up. Decide that you're done being average, done being overlooked, done being soft. And when you decide, the world shifts. You'll start to feel the power that was buried inside you all along. The power they tried to suppress. The power they're terrified of you unlocking. This isn't motivation, this is war. You're in a battle every day against comfort, weakness, mediocrity, distraction. And the truth is, most men are losing. They're asleep, drugged by cheap pleasure, numbed by entertainment, distracted by nonsense. You need to be different. You need to be dangerous, not violent, but unshakable, unstoppable. A man of discipline so severe that the world can't ignore you. That's how you win. You win by becoming undeniable. And that only happens when you finally stop being a slave to how you feel and become a slave to your purpose. Discipline isn't punishment, it's power, it's freedom, and it's the only way out of the cage they've built for you. If there's a voice in your head right now screaming, I need to change, don't ignore it. That's not fear, that's your soul begging you to evolve. That's the real you, the warrior, buried under years of self-doubt and procrastination. Let him out. Stop living like a ghost. Stop breathing like you've got a second life waiting in the wings. You don't. This is it, right now, this one shot, and every second you waste is an insult to the man you could be. Don't go to sleep tonight until you've taken real action. Not thoughts, not feelings, action. Build something, break a pattern, change your environment, push your limits, do whatever it takes to prove to yourself that this wasn't just another motivational high, that this was the moment your life began to I don't care if you start small. I care that you start right now. After this message, you shut the distractions off, write down your plan, and get to effing work. No more begging for motivation. No more crying for permission. No more waiting for things to be right. If you're broke, get rich. If you're weak, get strong. If you're lost, build direction. There are no guarantees, no safety nets, no second chances. There is only now. And you owe it to yourself to dominate it, because no one's coming to save you. But the version of you that can is waiting on the other side of action. Uthman, will you meet him?